It's winter break for us college folk, meaning yes, I have nothing to do. Well, sort of. I could apply for an internship or take winter classes, but instead I'm going to be doing something completely new and reviewing anime on the internet. You see my friend Jacob, he's a friend of mine, and honestly I have to keep telling myself that, because he had me at gunpoint recently and told me to watch this show or else. A bit much if you ask me, but whatever. I figured sure. I mean, with all this free time of watching actual good television and doing nothing, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt to step out of my comfort zone every once in a while. I say let's give it a try. So the Kawai Complex, or Kawai Complex Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior if you're patient, or Bokura Minna Kawaisou if you're a pseudo-intellect or Japanese, is an anime series in 2014 where a high school student named Usakun moves into an apartment complex with a masochist, a girl not handling single life very well, and a manifestation of evil. Not liking the arrangement as any sane high school student would, he considers leaving but stays when he realizes his crush is also living in the Kawai Complex. Much like any sane high school student would. Now as you already know, because this is the title of the video, but I haven't seen that much anime. I mean, if I had a poster for every anime I watched, it still wouldn't be enough for my parents to be concerned. That being said, an opinion is an opinion, and you don't need a bachelor's in aromatology to figure out if you like the smell of tulips or dog shit. So what does the Kawai Complex smell like? Well, it smells quite nice actually. The first thing you may notice when watching this anime is 1, it is very pretty, and 2, it is very cute. I don't even have any audio playing and I'm already feeling the warm blanket that is this show. It almost makes you wonder why they didn't just call this show the Cute Complex, am I right? The art style shifts between having this beautiful sense of color and lighting to a wonderful use of caricatures. It's great, and the best part is it doesn't overuse either of the two. Usually it's used to accentuate the humor or whatever is important at the time. It's not an artist vomit like you would see in a Star Wars prequel or in a bathroom of an unemployment office. The thing with comedy is that it's entirely subjective, so let me explain why the humor is objectively good. The word thought out comes to mind when I watch the Kawai Complex. A basic example is the first episode, where Usakun meets Shiro-san for the first time. For the first 3 minutes there's nothing but atmosphere and the promise of romance, only for that to be dashed by Shiro peeping his head through a hole in an elementary schoolyard. Right there we get an understanding that this show is weird. But in a good way. They could have easily gone the LOL random humor that would have usually foiled these kinds of shows, but they go for more of the weird in terms of the premise, which I feel is the proper way to go. Each character fits their comedic roles pretty well. Usakun is usually the straight man. Usually. Ritu-chan is the straight woman. Again, usually. Sumiko is the role reversal of her archetype, and Shiro, Mayumi, and Sayaka are usually the insiders. Also, another reason the show works despite being weird is the characters are so likable. This show uses almost every trick in the book from slapstick, to body, to meta humor, yet the jokes always land because the characters are so great to the point where it actually works against the show. Some of the weaker episodes are the ones where they focus on characters not in the main cast, like in episode 6, because it takes away focus from the main characters. The main cast work well with one another, and each character combination has a strong chemistry. They say the best compliment you can give to a cast is not having a favorite character, and Kawai Complex is a good example of that. All the characters are dynamic and don't annoy me. So with that, plus some wonderful comedic animation and timing, you get a show that makes Drawn Together look like the Holocaust. That's probably not the best compliment for a comedy show, considering Drawn Together by itself looks more like the 2016 Ghostbusters but on fire. This is the part where I talk about things that aren't important, so let's go. Number 1, this transition is amazing and I wish they did more of these throughout the show. Number 2, the romance between Ritu-chan and Usakun has a slower progression which I appreciate. I would say it's borderline realistic, but I'd have to be in a relationship in order to make that distinction. Number 3, the music in the opening and the music in the closing are excellent and the stuff in the middle is okay. Number 4, favorite episode is episode 2 because it displays the best art style, comedic timing, and bubbles. Number 5, least favorite episode is episode 6 because like I mentioned before it takes focus away from the main cast. Still a good episode though and it has a proper portrayal of pudding. Number 6, Sayaka-chan is probably the best written character on the show. She gets the most laughs from me and I love the voice performance. I know I just said I didn't have a favorite character but fuck you, Sayaka's great. Number 7, on the other hand, I'm not a fan of Tagami. Compared to the cast as a whole, he is the most boring, and he's the only part of the show I genuinely dread when he comes on screen. Probably because he reminds me of my friend Jacob. And number 8, speaking of Jacob, he wants me to mention that because of this show's short length as well as the speed it tells its jokes, it's great for multiple viewings. Coming from a non-anime fan, the Kawai Complex is My Name Zero but more Japanese. It's weird, it's vulgar, it's comedic, but surprisingly has a lot of heart and character and will probably not get another season because the world is unfair. The visuals are breathtaking, and it probably has some of the best comedic animation I've seen since, I don't know, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Johnny Bravo. It's not perfect, but neither are you, so I would highly recommend giving it a watch. I don't know what cute means in Japanese, but if I did know it, I would certainly describe this show as such.
明日も僕らはみんなかわいそうそれ